How's it going, everybody? My name is Jordan, and this is actually going to be my first YouTube upload. I've actually got my daughter in the garage with me. You gonna say hi, baby? Elise! So she's gonna be hanging out, so I apologize if I get interrupted. I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about my cars. A little brief introduction about myself. I'm 40 years old. I've been working on cars for 20 plus years and thoroughly enjoy working on cars. So I do get overwhelmed. I have too many projects, honestly, but might as well film the stuff and post it. So I'm just gonna try to have fun with this channel. I've got a beautiful wife, 2 amazing children. So I'm super fortunate there. And yeah, run a little bit business by myself. I do pressure washing. I've been pressure washing for honestly about 10 years or so. And I've been doing it for myself about 8. And don't really have employees currently. It's been a rough past 2 years keeping employees on board. So it's just kind of the way the economy is right now. So it is what it is. I've been doing a lot of work myself recently, so it's all good. But I'll go ahead and talk about the cars a little bit. This is my 95 Integra. This is an RS. No sunroof, which is really nice. I'm gonna move some stuff out real quick, but this is actually, I picked this car up. It was $1,000 when I got it, and it was just kind of a turd. I got home and the brake lines had blown. The fuel lines, they were busted, they were rusted through, and they were just, you know, spilling fuel all over the garage when I went out in the garage next morning. So kind of got it. Everything was beat up, so I did a whole JDM front end swap on it. Even did new doors, went ahead and did the JDM doors as well. So they don't have any trim on it. I believe the USDM ones have trim on it, and then welded up the holes in the back. So it turned out pretty nice. This is kind of a track car. It's dirty as crap right now, so I apologize. You're gonna see bird crap on it. I've been working on a cage on this car, and I've been pulling everything out while I'm doing cage work. So I live in the middle of a cornfield. As you can probably see outside, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so I get tons of birds. They come and just poop all over everything. So if you see that, I'm sorry. It's just I haven't had a chance to clean it yet. But this car I bought with a B18 swap in it. I actually did a K24 hybrid, so it's got an Accord bottom end with a Type S head, ported RBC intake manifold. I think I've got a Skunk 2 alpha header, PLM. I just put that billet strut brace on, and I'm running Advant 17 by 10s in the front, and then a 17 by 9 in the rear. This is a 225, or I'm sorry, this is a 255, and then I believe in the back, I think I'm running a 225. Let me see. Yes, sorry, overlooked it, but 225, 40, 17. So it's fender flared, that's why, just because it's wide, and I kind of like the look when it's done clean. So it turned out pretty nice. The car is actually gutted. I've got Buddy Club seats in it. I built a roll bar. I actually built this one. I know it's a bolt-in, but I made it a bolt-in. So, because I figured I'd do a full cage later down the road. Built this roll bar, and actually just installed that seat the other day. This is their Evo. This is the Buddy Club Evo. It's a pretty nice seat. I didn't purchase it for this car. I purchased it for my S2000, but they sent me a large instead of a regular, so it didn't fit in the S2K, and I liked it so much that I took the seat out of the Integra and decided to install it in the S2000 instead. So it's gutted, as you can see. I've got a mess of wires down there. I'm building I actually just built a little panel for the front, carbon fiber panel, so I just need to trim this and get it perfect and get that installed. So I'll move on to the EK. So I picked this up just a couple months back, probably about 3 months ago, and it's a DX model. Everything is relatively stock right now as far as suspension, but I'm going to be changing a lot of stuff out here shortly. It's got the DX spindle still, so I want to upgrade to the EX or SIs so I can go larger brakes. It did come with some Trueheart coilovers. I wouldn't say it's my favorite coilover, but it's going to get me by for right now. I just want to get some track time and see, you know, how I do in this car. So I honestly don't have much experience. Last time I was on the track that I remember, I wrecked my car and messed it up pretty bad. So just hoping to get back on the track, get some seat time, get some experience, really enjoy it. Honestly, just get out and enjoy life. So haven't been on the track like I would like to have been years ago. So this year is hopefully going to be a year. It's B18C swapped. It's got a really clean GSR swap in it. I'm kind of ghetto-fying, if that's a word. You know, I'm just de-racing this car. There was a lot of hack work that I've run into that I've been trying to fix. So installed some new studs. I installed the PLM big tube header. It's got the Skunk 2 Ultra intake manifold on it. It's got a Password JDM strut brace. I actually swapped that off the Integra onto this one, and then bought the new PLM, their billet strut base for this car. Compression on this engine was phenomenal. It was 250 in all cylinders, 250 plus. Transmission was flawless, no grinds, nothing. So I was really happy with that. The front end of this car, as you can see, it's white. The car's actually red. It was pretty messed up. This thing was all twisted. The core support was pushed down and back, and I had to really finesse it, pull it, actually drill out a lot of the spot welds and shift it into place. And now the front end lines up a whole lot better. I can actually, shut the hood. I've got hood pins installed, so it's just it's a lot better now than it was. So even if it's not the same color, just the panels lining up make me feel so much better. So this car currently is full interior. Sorry, I've got a lot of the plastics out right now, but full interior. I'm probably going to be doing a different steering wheel here soon and really cleaning this thing up, just making it nice. So I plan on keeping it this way. Plan on keeping air conditioning. I'm not sure the color that I plan on going with yet. I'm kind of torn towards white because I've got a lot of white cars, but I did install a new Civic Type R hatch on it. Got this from my friend Aaron. He's a great guy. He's always hooked me up with some good deals. That's where I got the whole front end on the Integra as well, but I got a CTR hatch. So this one does not have the wiper in it. It's got the privacy glass, which I really, really appreciate. This is a nice little feature. So the last one was just so dented up. So I talked to Aaron and he had this one, so I bought it. That's kind of it for the build at the moment. I've got a rear disc set up, actually sitting over by Elise on the floor, but I'm gonna tear it down and take it to my buddy Mark for powder coating first. So, and then I'm gonna install the parts. But I've got some upper control arms over here that I wanna get installed on the car. And then I've also got a quick release for the bumper that I wanna be installing. So I'll probably do a little video on those as well while I'm at it. So I'll go ahead and move on to the S2000s. So I've got two S2Ks. I bought this one back in 05, and I bought this one about 6 years ago. So originally bought this one in 05. My father actually had one of these. He had purchased in 03. He had an 02 that he bought in 03. Both of us, honestly, we just didn't get along very well, but when it came to the S2000, we honestly really bonded over that car. So we'd be outside washing our cars together, go cruising. Like, it was some of my best memories, honestly. My father's gone now. He had passed away about 8 years from ALS, which is a horrible disease. But long story short is, this is the only car I've got left that my father's been in with me. So I originally planned on racing it. I had built the cage. Funny story was, I was building this cage while taking care of my father when he was sick, and my wife was pregnant. So I got this cage completed the day before my son was born in the hospital. So I was really happy that that was kind of knocked off the list, but decided to not race this car just because it's so sentimental to me. I've got a lot of good memories tied to this car, so I decided to pick up this chassis. So this is an 2000 that I picked up. I actually had a built motor in this car. I pulled it out, swapped it into this car. So it's got an F20C, Darton sleeves, Potter X-beam rod, CP piston, SuperTech valve train. It's turbo, as you can see. So I believe it's a 9-to-1 compression that I went with on these. Kind of ceramic coated all this stuff recently. Got the AFI intake manifold. I'm doing a V-mount setup on this. I pulled the bumper off so you guys could see. But I built a nice V-mount setup. I've got the front actually in the shop. Everything is kind of fabbed up, ready to go on this. So this shouldn't take a whole lot of work to get going. I'm gonna ask my buddy Brian to maybe get involved with me. He's really good with this type of work. So hopefully he comes over and gives me a hand at some point. I'll happily pay him too. So I'm working on the cage currently. This is technically it's an FIA spec cage. So I'm building it myself, but it's to FIA standards essentially, their design. So I'm doing the single piece door bars, and I've actually got this side finished as well too. I just don't have all the bars sitting in here, but I've got a removable dash bar, essentially. I've got these pieces, I'll grab them really quick, but let me see, give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab these little pieces. My buddy Brian referred me to this company, and I picked these up. So let me get this camera back on. These actually are 2-piece, and I can weld this into the tube, and then I can disconnect it. Now, typically I wouldn't want to run something like this on a cage, but it being the dash bar, it was kind of necessary if I want to run a dash bar. It's not even a necessary bar to put into the cage in this car, but I wanted to add it anyways. But if I do, if I install the dash bar, it sits up underneath the factory one. So I'm actually going to make it so it's removable, so I don't lock that steering column into place. So I won't go too crazy in depth right now on the stuff that I'm doing. I noticed I was, but I'll go into the build a little bit more. So they're both Jay's GT kits. I bought this one a few years prior to buying this one. I've always loved this kit, and I wasn't extremely happy with how the car looked at the time. It was wide body and it had some nice pieces, but it just wasn't to my liking. And I really wanted to make it about as perfect as I could to my liking. So I went ahead and got the Jay's GT kit. I've always loved this kit. And then a few years later, I had somebody tag me on a post where a friend had it for sale. He was coming from California delivering some cars, and I met him up in Florida, and I bought the kit off of him. So I've been kind of slowly putting this car together. As far as the setup, I've got Advan GTs, I've got StopTechs in the front and the back. I'm running a 18x11 with a, I believe this is a 315 in the front. Let's see, there we go. Yeah, 315. And in the back, I'm running a 18x12. And this is a 335. So yeah, running a 335 in the back on this. I got the StopTech trophies back here. I've got some pretty neat parts going on this. A lot of carbon fiber. I've got the carbon fiber trunk, hard top, hood. I've also got a set of carbon fiber doors going on this car that are sitting up there. So that's the game plan for this car. I've also got all GT3 NSX aero, so the whole under tray. Actually, I've got the front splitter, midsection, and the rear diffuser, and it fits phenomenal on this car. So I'm excited to get that stuff put on there, see how it fits up, lines up, and honestly just see how this entire car performs. So goal for this year is to get this running and driving. I know it's a lot actually with my time frame, but I'm gonna set that goal, and that's a really important one that I'm gonna try to meet this year. So hopefully I'll do a lot of filming on this car and posting it. And then I'll go a little bit more into my last car. I've got a truck outside I might talk about later. I don't know. I'll just stick to the cars for right now though. So I've got an R32 GTR. Really clean car. This thing had no rust, which anybody that's shopped for GTRs understands that finding these with no rust is kind of a challenge. So that's the one thing that really sold me on this. It's got a little higher miles, I believe. I don't know the exact mileage, but the dash says it's got like 32,000 kilometers, which I just don't believe. It's really clean, but it's not that clean. So obviously it's got full interior. I'm keeping this one a street car. I just installed some BC coilovers. I did some ARP extended studs on it. It's got a downpipe, a Blitz downpipe, and it's got a HKS dragger. I can't remember which exhaust it is, but it's large. It's like 3.5-inch diameter. So sorry this one's covered up. I'm just trying to keep the dust and debris because I'm doing cage work. I'm just kind of trying to keep the debris and stuff off of this car because we just had it polished. Did a paint correction. I plan on ceramic coating it. So I just kind of uncovered a little bit to show the car for the video. But I've got coilovers that I just installed. So I'm going to be doing some wheels. I've got some Volks up there that I'm going to be putting on. I've got some really unique pieces too. These are some that are a little bit difficult to get your hands on. And especially the guy died about 1.5 years ago that builds these, and they're nearly impossible now to find. But Crazy Hornet ring risers. These lift the spoiler about 2.5 inches. And they look pretty unique on the car, so I figured I'd try them out. I picked them up. My buddy John, he did the paint work, and he did such a phenomenal job. I know it's probably a little dirty, but man, the paint work, it's just glass. Like, he does fantastic paint work. So I've got a steering wheel, some Recaros that I'm going to be installing. Just a lot of nice parts. Hopefully having a really clean, just nice street build GTR. And hopefully I get to enjoy that a little bit this year too. So I'll be filming this car. I'll be doing a lot on this car. I'll be doing a lot on this car, and I'll be doing a lot on this Civic as well. So these are going to be my 3 builds that I'm really going to be focusing on. And little odds and ends, I'm sure. I've got to do some studs on that, and I'm going to be racing that, so we're going to see like how that one turns out as well. That motor kind of sucks, so we'll see. We'll see if that one blows up this year, but that's it. I'm gonna hopefully be doing some more filming here soon and uploading, and just if you're interested in following any of these, please, you know, like, subscribe, stay tuned, you know, kind of the thing everybody says on YouTube. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys soon.